Спасибо, что вы пришли. Мое имя Кент Ховинд. Я преподавал науку 15 лет, и теперь последние 11 лет я путешествую и говорю о сотворении, эволюции и динозаврах.
I'll hold that thought for a minute. Who's on the phone there, John?
Yes, we have Jared on the phone.
Jared, good to hear from you.
You too, Kent. How's it going?
We're going to get you.
Are you really?
Yes, sir.
What's your plan of attack?
I'll just keep teaching the truth, and pretty soon you're going to wake up and say, you know, I've been deceived.
Oh, but you do that so rarely, Kent.
Oh, we get thousands converted.
No, I mean teach the truth.
What do I say that's wrong?
All kinds of stuff, actually.
Oh, that's a generic charge. There's no way to defend against that. You know, give me a specific.
How about the Karl Popper quote that I saw? Do you still use that one?
Well, Popper talked about, he's the philosopher of science, that I don't remember the quote exactly, about evolution is not really science. It's not testable science.
Right.
Yeah, is something wrong with that quote? I've never heard anybody challenge that one.
Yeah, he recanted it.
What do you mean he recanted? He did say it, but then he changed his mind?
Yeah.
So, what's the matter? He did say it.
And specifically, he was talking about natural selection, from what I read. He was saying that the doctrine or whatever of the concept of natural selection is not falsifiable, not testable, and his whole thing was falsification. It was like Popperian philosophy of science. And in his view at the time when he said that, he didn't think natural selection was testable, but he changed his mind later. So for you to quote something he said as a young man or younger, I think is a little bit disingenuous.
Well, this is the first time anybody's ever said anything to me about that.
Okay.
I will have to investigate that.
Okay, well, now you know.
Well, I don't know that I know. I know that you said it.
Okay. We'll check it out.
All right, I'll do that. But even still, what he said, the thought is correct, that there's nothing about evolution that's testable.
No. The natural selection is what he was talking about, not evolution in general.
I believe in natural selection, but I believe it selects, it doesn't create.
Well, yeah, neither does anybody else. Nobody believes that natural selection creates anything per se.
Well, that's one of the driving forces behind evolution, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's a creative force.
Well, yeah, over the long term, it's creating something new. It's creating a mouse out of a pile of dirt, you know?
Yeah, but only in combination. I mean, it's kind of like talking about a gun with bullets. Like, is it the bullet or the gun that kills somebody? Right? The question itself doesn't make any sense. It requires both together to do the job.
Okay. So natural selection then does indeed create in combination with something else.
It depends on what you mean. Would you say that selecting breeds of dogs from a stock of wolves is creating new breeds?
No, I don't think a dog and a wolf are, they're different species, but they're the same kind of animal.
Fine, but do you think it's creating new breeds?
I guess you have to define breed. I suppose Chihuahua and Great Dane are considered different breeds.
Sure, or Irish Wolfhound, or
whatever
you want to talk
about. 400
about.
recognized breeds, and all the half-breeds in between, you know.
Yeah, beagles didn't exist, right, before humans bred wolves. Would you say that's fair to say?
Correct, yeah. Probably
Okay.
most of the dog varieties we have today did not exist.
Okay, so artificial selection that humans did created a breed of dog and lots of breeds of dogs. Would you say that's fair to say?
I would say it created over 400 varieties of the dog kind.
Varieties, okay, fine, whatever word you want to use.
Breed becomes a little fuzzy term also, but go ahead.
Sure, okay, so they created varieties.
And they discovered, after all of this intensive research on dog breeding, that they're running into brick walls where you can't go any farther.
Sure, that's obvious.
Well,
you can deduce that mathematically because there's only a finite amount of information in any particular genome.
Well, then how on earth can you believe in evolution?
Because of mutations, which change the information, add new information, etc.
Wait. You're not going to get that one by me. Mutations add new information?
Yeah, we've already talked about this several times.
You know, they add the same information twice.
Yeah, and then if you mutate one part of that information and you compare that set of information total with the original, that's new information. And
what examples are there where this has actually produced a new kind that took over and became dominant in the population?
A new kind?
Yeah, what most people would recognize as a new kind of life form.
I don't think that we're ever going to see that.
But that's a religion.
No, it happens too slowly to observe directly.
So if you don't observe it directly, then your indirect observation would be from fossils.
Okay, right. So let's talk about why we know that there's been enough. Would you say that if there were enough time available that this would be the inevitable conclusion of this process?
No, I think if there were enough time available, everything would wear out.
Now, why do you think that?
Well, we know we're collecting a whole lot of useless problems in the gene code. About 3,600 defective genes have now been identified.
Sure.
Over time, this gets worse. The genetic load grows. So the more time you have, the more problems you have, not only with erosion, eroding the mountains down to the sea level, and ecosystems wearing out, and I mean everything. Time is the enemy of the evolutionists. They think it's the friend, but it's the enemy.
Well, Jack Kawazo, who's orthodontist for decades now, gave a very good example of the type of changes we can see in our own lifetime right here. I mean, you can look at, and I don't think anyone would dispute this, that younger generations or younger kids are maturing much sooner now. There's 17, 18-year-old kids. When I was in middle school, when I was in 7th grade, there were 3 7th graders who had full beards. One of them we called him Moses. I got another buddy of mine, Daryl. By high school, they were balding. I mean, you can just go look at your local high school and see that a lot of the 17, 18-year-old kids are like 6'2", 6'3". They're maturing much quicker. Kawazo was saying that they have to do adult surgeries on girls who are 12 years old, 13 years old, because kids are maturing much more quickly. I mean, they're breaking down a lot faster than they used to.
Breaking down faster?
Well,
yeah, they're maturing much too quickly now. It's not a slow, drawn-out, healthy type of process. They're having to do surgeries on adults, on children, and it's not good to do this on children.
And Jonathan, why do you think that is?
Well, he went ahead and described it and explained it as DNA becoming more corrupt over successive generations.
Yeah, but is there any evidence of that?
Of course. Well, he even cited, I think he was debating Dr. Alan Mann, who is an atheist, an evolutionist, who agreed with him. And then whenever he brought up that subject, Dr. Alan Mann tried to pass it off on steroids in the foods, and Dr. Kawazo actually flashed up a quote from Mann's book and said, look, you just agreed with me here, and now you're saying something totally different.
Steroids in the foods?
Yeah, they're trying to say that it's steroids in foods and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they give the beef cattle and stuff, growth hormone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Okay, growth hormone, I can see doing this.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, and that's what the Dr. Alan Mann tried saying the second time, but he had already, in writing, published papers saying that it was because of degenerate mutational stuff. I saw a study here probably 6 or 8 months ago where they had they looked at the medical records from 1900 and the average age of puberty onset compared to the year 2000.
Right.
Average age of, and we've gone down about 2.5 years just in the last 100.
Yep, that's pretty much a fact, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, is that good? Is that healthy? Is that an example of improving the race, or is this an example that I would say is, hey, we have some serious problems with not only the human race, but many species, the poor...
Well, orthodontists are saying that that's not good, because now they're having to do adult surgeries on children.
Like oral surgery, you mean, or...
wisdom teeth coming in too early, way too early.
Yeah, stuff like
crowding out teeth. And
yeah, sure. But see, the point that I would make is that to blame this on DNA degenerating is ludicrous, because if this rate of change had been the same for the last 1,000 years, we would be
saying if it's linear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we'd be getting puberty at like 4 years old or something. Come on.
Sure. Yeah. Good point. We don't know. It's just like people would point to Civil War uniforms and say, see how small they were back then, and we've gained 4 inches in the last 150 years, which is probably true on the overall average.
People that are 6'4" like I am didn't really exist, hardly at all.
Abe Lincoln was 6'6", but
yeah, but he was an extreme exception, though.
Yeah,
it was well noted that he was a mutant, basically.
But let's assume we have gained 4 inches over an average height in the last 150 years.
Yeah, it can't have been continuously like that.
But of course, even getting bigger does not mean that's better.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
it could be just more food supply.